Crop circles, one of my favorite subjects to talk about that I've ever investigated in for many years, and the crop circle concept is extremely real, very, very authentic. Of course, authentic crop circles are the ones that are not man-made, and the most effective method really to understand what are the crop circles is to take that picture of a crop circle or the video of it, the two-dimensional sign. So that two-dimensional aspect, that two-dimensional pattern, extend it up vertically, create it into a 3D format, three-dimensionally, so vertically. And then ask yourself, does this really relate to human consciousness, off-world consciousness? Is someone trying to relay something to us, or is this made by a couple of guys at nighttime with a wooden board? And of course, authentic crop circles are very, very real, very genuine. And of course they are. I don't even understand how people doubt that anymore. These are not circles, these are complex patterns. Just like ancient pyramids and temples and ancient sites, we see tremendous amount of hidden history, math, and a variety of different things that to this day people can't explain. They can't even figure out how they built them. And when it comes to the crop circles, ancient sites, pyramids, and so forth, and the structures, the energy vortex points, the ley lines, dragon lines, the grid lines, or the grid itself, we see that this has to do with our universal blueprint. That's no secret anymore. Why are all of these authentic crop circles and ancient technology information being hidden from us humans? Why is this being suppressed? Why is there censorship about it? Why is this information being hidden or even destroyed or burned by the corrupt societies, fake religions? Fake news are constantly spreading bullshit about crop circles like they're like a couple of kids made them overnight using their flashlight on their cell phone. That's not true. Crop circle shows up tonight, fake news already saying, oh, no, that's definitely man-made, without any evidence to say that. Authentic crop circles, we have to understand first and foremost that these are not man-made. They're not animal-made. No humans make these authentic, massive, gigantic, complex designs and patterns. These are not circles. They're patterns. We need to understand what's within the pattern. And some few here and there are made, smaller, tiny, little basic ones that I can make with a couple of buddies. That's made as a prank, yes, of course. And they make them in a sign or a logo of a car, like a Ferrari or Lamborghini or things like that. But authentic, complex crop circles, they're extremely real, very authentic. And they're made by off-planet influences and energies and consciousnesses. Secondly, there's tremendous amount of different off-planet technology that's used to even create an authentic crop circle. I'm aware of that. I've been informed that by an extraterrestrial being that taught me how these things are made. And there are many different ET races, yes, of course, that participate in creation of the authentic crop circles and patterns, but some of these races are malevolent beings. They're tricksters, they're fraud artists, they're parasites. And then they make these circles to confuse humans, to disrupt our evolution process. But generally, authentic crop circles are made out of compassion and respect and love towards humans in a very peaceful way, in a very loving way, a very respectful way, as these beings are trying to give us information and inventions and so forth. And whatever tricksters make, as far as revision to the authentic crop circles, which is done definitely sometimes, this is intentionally done, but it's always corrected shortly after. And it's corrected by the very same beings that created the original authentic crop circle in the first place. And it's all done energetically. So the races that have created an authentic crop circle will intervene to revise and properly edit that crop circle, or they'll just completely destroy it because it's beyond point of revision. They can do whatever really that they want. They have energy, they have technology, they have a variety of different technologies that humans cannot even pronounce or understand. So of course, these are deeper interstellar subjects. And a deeper way to understand authentic crop circles is truly to see it as an energy of seeing circuit within the collective consciousness, in the grid system and the earth grounding systems. These are energetic points. These are little energy machines that they create, just like pyramids are. The entirety of crop circles or pyramids all has to do with energy. It's manipulation of energy, and these ancient civilizations knew that. But the technology today, so 2020 or whatever years we're living in now, this timeline, this linear time, the way they make these crop circles, there's two different methods. There's an old method, there's a new method. First method is by sound vibration and light vibration, of course. So it starts with a very low frequency, extremely low. That's specifically a wind type of vibration. But it sets the wind at a 20, 25 miles per hour, at most 30 miles per hour. So it pushes down exactly at the right angle, but does not break the branch, does not break the crop, does not break the grass, doesn't burn the grass. The way that they're made, as it was very carefully explained to me by an entity, is when this mysterious, powerful energy that we call heat, but they don't call it heat, and it comes down on top of that crop circle through the crop itself, it forms a spiraling vortex. It makes an extremely hot energies, and then the scheduled patterns are instantly created, their own pattern, their own design. What we call crop circle, they call it a pattern. It doesn't break the crop, it doesn't burn the crop, it bends the crop, but it does not break at that 90-degree elbow. So it's extremely important to remember that always. Authentic crop circles, crops are never broken, never damaged, never burnt. They're just bent. They're heated, and then they're bent at that particular 90-degree bend, 90-degree elbow, at the pocket. So this moisture from the soil that comes up when the heat from the ships and off-planet locations is applied, when it comes up, the nodes themselves, they get stretched instantly. That's the bend itself. And because they get stretched instantly, an extremely powerful hot microwave effect and heat occur, meaning the plants become really bendable and pliable, so they get twisted into their own design patterns. They can bend to the left, they can bend to the right, forward, backwards, or any degree, any angle. So that would be one way that crop circles would be going on. They'd be happening and being created for a very, very long time. It's not a primitive way, it's just a very, very old way. In the early 1900s is that kind of where they stopped using that technology. But after that time, many races started to use light and sound technology. And today, it's still used strictly light and sound. Look at England, they have a new crop circle every 2-3 days. And every time they figure some new math particle there. Authentic crop circles possess a tremendous amount of hidden intelligence and information. Advanced mathematics, and physics, and geometry, and frequencies, things humans have no idea about. To this day, people think we have pig DNA, banana DNA. That's completely inaccurate. We have multidimensional DNA. There have been crop circles in relation to teaching us about our own DNA. There's hidden messages within these circles, unique designs for advanced mechanical routers and magnetical fields of fusion and reactions, and even warning to humans. Beware of imposers, I think one of them was. Magnetic rotors have been explained to us in the form of a crop circle. Blueprints for molecule structure for new forms of energy. Inventions for the aviation transportation industry. We've seen that in crop circles too. And it's highly important as well to mention that most of the authentic crop circles today that I've researched for many years, even from experts that have spent their entire lives about this, they all exist in a corresponding geometric image created by the sound frequency itself. And I've also seen very clearly that authentic crop circles have mathematics within them. They have visual expression, geometry, hidden codes, formulas, and extremely complex geometry, such as Ptolemy's theorem of chords. How can all this math be hidden in a crop circle of a bunch of guys that just created it overnight? I mean, these ludicrous lies, honestly, we need to retire these nonsense sentences such as conspiracies. I mean, that term's been being used for 50 years now. These things aren't created by some guys using wooden forms. That's a laughable, primitive claim. Authentic crop circles are made by off-planet influences on off-planet consciousnesses. The real, true builders of them, they don't live here. They have a galactic origin. We just don't know the exact race, of course, because they come in and out. They open a portal, they use interdimensional ships, meaning they don't need to travel. They just come here, they're already here. They do whatever they need to do. And crop circles really is not something new that's in my generation or in my father's generation. Crop circles go back to the late 1800s. I've researched it until early 1920s. All over the world, from Africa to Russia to UK, of course. There's Germany, Italy. There's all these crop circles all over the place. These diagrams, these symbols, these precisely designed patterns are inserted into the crop circle itself for the purpose of us, humans, benefiting from it. So this takes remarkable planning and precision But the best part about our authentic crop circle is they are never broken. How can that possibly be? Because they're using technology that we cannot buy on Amazon, that we can't go to the store and buy. They're using off-planet technology. I mean, there's never been any evidence of any breakages of these plants where people are taking pictures and say, oh yeah, look at all these plants are being broken. But then again, when everyone describes the crop circle, they're ignoring the obvious. That there's never been anything broken. This has been altered by incredibly powerful magnetic force. And then they end up bent anywhere between 80, 90 to 100 degree. And of course, at a 90 degree, it's a perfect bend, but around that time. A biophysicist already explained this. He's one of the most reputable people in the industry, William Levitin, who was an author of like 50, 60 different research papers and a variety of different findings. He had like 6 different patents, this guy. And he showed an overwhelming amount of obvious anomalies were found within these crop circles, crop patterns, and the crops. And he identified fake, so man-made crop circles, and the differences between that and the authentic ones. And he's seen and shown the seed activities. The crops are bent down, they're completely blown open, and they're clearly visible by our eyes, by our photographic camera. No branches are ever broken, ever. These tested plants, they show tremendous amount of heat. It's always heat. An involvement of rapid air movement, ionization, electric fields, and transient high temperature combined with the oxidizing atmosphere. Those things are not coincidences. There's no such a thing as a coincidence in quantum universe or in our own lives. These are carefully pre-planned things, carefully executed with razor-sharp precision. A great author, Barbara Lamb, another great author, Freddie Silva. These people understand crop circles better than any other human on earth today. And they understand that crop circles are not made by humans. Authentic crop circle patterns are made by off-planet influences, plain and simple. But then NASA dabbed into this too. I remember that NASA scientist Carl Sagan, 1974, he sent a radio wave broadcast, this little shitty disc into space to contact extraterrestrials like they didn't even know they existed, called Reagan-Siebel message, which included a tiny little map of Earth, our human DNA, our human population, our alphabet, our languages, a sample of our music, and they sent this out to the solar system to look for extraterrestrials. Laughable nonsense, but they did. And then they received the message back 27 years later, real message back. And the message back received was in the form of one of the best, most famous, authentic crop circles in the world, but it happened at the Chillington Observatory in UK, depicting a gorgeous, a stunning face of an extraterrestrial. How can that possibly be? And the depiction showed there's 28 billion of them in their race, their planetary system, their location, their DNA. Another phenomenal one, my favorite, also again in UK, near Stonehenge, the tourist site, 1996. Depiction of a second density insect here on Earth, so an insect called centipede. The little guys with a million little legs. Yeah, so this complex pattern, once it was fully translated and analyzed, it specifically contained a mathematical pattern called Julia set. How can that be? So a very, very, very complex branch of math, which is called complex dynamics. But in Italy too, we have a couple different ones that are extremely unique that have to do with the Anunnakis. So the real gods who came down to Earth 5 times, the real builders of the Giza pyramids and any other pyramid, particularly 5-pointed star, or 7-pointed star, or 6-pointed star. Depends who you ask. But the Enki, the Anunnaki, one of the original depictions of the Anunnaki, the Enki, one of the gods, where he sits in a chair, and human depictions or engravings we have on today, we see a 7-pointed star. Well, that's the very same 7-pointed star we've seen in an authentic crop circle in Polerino, Italy. In 2011, is just a continuation of the very same star that happened in the 2010. So we've had 2 consecutive crop circle patterns in 2010 and 2011, same city, same area, same region, same field, or in relation to the Enki star. Crabwood, UK, another one, depicting another extraterrestrial face, just a couple of years later, a few years later. And once this was translated, a statement specifically said, it was a very short statement, broken English, but it says, beware of barriers of false light and broken promises, and we oppose deception. Phenomenal, phenomenal warning message. Euclid It's an interesting thing. So UCL is a fundamental basis for our entire math, as what we know today, on every country collectively, all of it, all of the math. And researchers found out that math within many crop circles are not even found today in 13 books of UCLs for mathematics, so 13 available books. So how can that advanced math be placed in a crop circle by some people that are doing it overnight? It's crazy. It's nonsense. These are sacred sites. These are specifically selected sites. And the most unique part, I feel, of an authentic crop circle pattern, crop circle design, is that they're always above water beds. Not oceans, not lakes, no, but water beds, so beds within the soil. And I really, really hope that in my lifetime, for many years, I hope I live a long time, I see tremendous amount of authentic crop circles. I think it's an incredible thing to see, extremely noble and elegant thing to see by our own extraterrestrial, extra-dimensional, interdimensional friends. Especially we need their advice, their assistance, their help now in these tyrannic times in 2021 and 2022. And crop circles, in my personal humble opinion, very firm opinion, is a gift to humans. It's just a gift to humanity to help us become better, stronger, accelerate, to evolve, to grow, to move forward. To learn how to read these 3D patterns is really the key, not judging it. That's one of the standard human conditionings, judgment. So is ego, so is fear, but judgment. We'll look at a beautiful pattern, a kilometer long, or a mile long, or half a mile long. What's the first thing she would say? Oh, a couple of guys did that from a local nightclub last night. Really? Was that after, like the last call at 2 a.m., or was that like when they got to the club? When they valeted their car, was it at that time? And constantly these articles are coming out in England. They always say, guys from a local bar, guys from a local club. I mean, these primitive and insulting comments should be completely ignored. Authentic crop circles are extremely real, and they're an absolute beautiful and graceful gift to humanity.